aims to raise menstrual hygiene awareness and is part of the Congress's broader women-centric outreach before the assembly election due in this state. This year, the sanitary pad boxes featured a photo of Rahul with poll promise of rupees 2,500 dole per month to women from deprived families if Mahagathbandhan comes to power. BJP has strongly objected to Rahul Gandhi's picture in the packets. Now, before I'll play out the bites of the politicians, because obviously they will have a different view, let me tell you that in 2024 Lok Sabha elections, the data says among the 7.64 crore voters in the state, 4 crore are men and 3.6 crore are women. And incumbent Nitish Kumar government has also launched a Mahila Samvad, a door-to-door outreach campaign targeting 2 crore women voters across villages. But let me introduce my guest, Ajit Kejha, psephologist, senior journalist, and KV Prasad, senior journalist. Thank you, both of you. Both of you have very extensively covered Bihar. My first question to you, Ajit, is will this work for the Congress party? Because I'm not going to trivialize this issue. Sanitation, women's health is a very important issue.
Look, Kartike, the idea might be creative, but putting Rahul Gandhi's face on the pad is, I think, rather silly. I don't know who conceived of this entire campaign. I think they should have put Sonia's face, Priyanka's face. They could have put other, Congress women leaders from Bihar's face, not Rahul Gandhi's, because, this is a matter of extreme privacy, and putting Rahul Gandhi's face there, is very embarrassing. And I don't think it's going to work simply because the last survey I saw, Nitish Kumar had a 36% gender gap advantage over the Mahagathbandhan because of the numerous schemes he has done or he had spent for women, starting from the cycle scheme, he has increased the widow pension scheme, all kinds of targeted women's benefits that he has done. Even the girls, when they go to college, the kind of free education, the bank loans come free because of the government's whatever measures. And there are thousands and thousands of schemes that Nitish has done in the last 20 years, which has fetched him a huge amount of women vote, much more than the Mahagathbandhan and the other side. So I think this just providing pads, sanitary pads for women, that also 5 lakh. Imagine if the voter is about 3.5 crore, will they only assign it in those constituencies where Congress gets a ticket? I mean, all that shows it's not going to pay off. Honestly.
Okay, you're saying it's not going to pay off? Okay, let me take opening comment from KV Prasad. Mr. Prasad, your opening comments on this campaign.
Well, on one point, I agree with Ajit, the fact that they probably could have not put Rahul Gandhi on the face of it, but that's party's calculation. But I beg to differ on one point. You see that every party is now trying to see how best it can move a particular section. And everybody knows women voters have shown the last 10 years that they have shifted and independently voted, breaking away from the male-dominated decisions that have been traditionally talked about. This being a sector which is very, very sensitive is also very important that you're talking of sanitation, sanitary issues, women's health, menstruation is all very, it's a subject that's out in the open now for the last many years. It's no longer, the taboo is people are trying to move away from the taboo segment of it. It might take time, but knowing the amount of work Mr. Nitish Kumar and his government have done for women, I think the Congress is only going for this micro-targeting. How it translates into vote, or it's going to just generate goodwill, what exactly is the normal...
KV, let me ask this question to you. Isn't attaching a male leader's face...
Yeah, I think I said in
let me ask you. Let me be the devil's advocate. Doesn't it normalize the conversation of menstruation?
Well, to an extent, yes. But as I said, probably they could have used a mix of more people there, even if you wanted to have Rahul Gandhi on that page. Just Rahul Gandhi. In any case, Congress is not contesting alone. It is contesting as an alliance with RJD on the Mahagathbandhan. So, projecting Rahul alone as on that I don't know what kind of poll strategy.
आप राशन कार्ड पे देखकर फोटो लगा देंगे, राशन पे लगा देंगे, सैनिटरी पैड्स हैं आपने उस पे लगा दिया।
नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ गठबंधन में है ना, आप गठबंधन में, राहुल गांधी कांग्रेस अकेला नहीं लड़ रही है चुनाव।
I'm just keeping it to the fact that why sanitary pads? I mean, so what's the big deal, yaar? What's
No,
the
no,
big
I'm
deal
not
about
against.
it?
I'm not against it. I'm not. For a moment, I've said this is something, a conversation that has to come out in the
Absolutely,
open.
it has to
Needs
be normalized.
Absolutely no. I have no dispute on that. I said only the fact is I only agreed with Ajit on the issue of putting a face. That's all.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's not a gender specific. It's just
Okay.
a
Then let me
political
do one thing.
calculation.
Let me do one thing, KB. Let me just quickly run through two bites. Alka Lamba and Chirag Paswan. Very, very quickly. 30 seconds each.
महिला कांग्रेस हो, मैं एक कांग्रेस का राजनीतिक दल का एक अग्रिम संगठन महिला कांग्रेस है, लेकिन हमारे प्रयासों से 5 लाख बहनों को, हम बिहार के चुनाव से पहले 5 लाख बहनों को कपड़ा मुक्त करने जा रहे हैं, जिसमें हमारी मासूम बेटियां भी हैं 13-14 साल की, जो गंभीर बीमारियों का शिकार हो रही है। ये बिहार के सर्वे ने बताया, हमें चौंकाने वाले हैं। इस पे बात करने की बजाय शर्म आती है जो डिब्बी पे राहुल जी के देखते ही बौखलाते हैं। राहुल जी की तस्वीर,
इस सोच का मैं समर्थन करता हूं, बट ये आपको असहज करता है। और आप किस कदर तक आप जाइएगा अपना प्रचार करने के लिए? हम लोगों के ऊपर यही लोग सवाल उठाते हैं ना कि भैया आप अपनी योजना पे काहे थैले पे फोटो लगा रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं। वो तो चलिए, फिर भी ऐसी चीज़ें, ये एक ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जिसमें आज भी भाई हम लोग वेस्टर्नाइज नहीं ना हुए हैं। आज भी हम लोग संकोच करते हैं कुछ चीज़ों पर, महिलाएं संकोच करती हैं। ऐसे में आपकी सोच का मैं समर्थन करता हूं। अच्छी बात है कि भाई आप सैनिटरी पैड्स आप बांट रहे हैं, बांटिए, बट उसके ऊपर राहुल जी की फोटो।
Okay. Let me do the brass tacks here with Ajit. Ajit, do you think that the Gathbandhan has the capacity to close the gap which you had spoken about? You know, let's also take that into account, because in Lok Sabha the gap became bigger.
Look, I do think that the Mahagathbandhan might close the gap with the NDA. Last time, remember, in the 2020, the gap was a mere 12,000 votes. So, given the fact that you have the Prashant Kishor X factor, which might slice votes on both sides, it is possible that the Mahagathbandhan might end up getting, if they put up a really great campaign, they might end up getting more votes than the NDA. I won't be surprised. After all, you have a fierce 20 years anti-incumbency. But all I'm saying is, if that happens, that won't be because of the Congress. It will be more because of the RJD and the left parties. The strike rate of the left parties is the highest. The strike rate of the RJD is excellent. The strike rate of the Congress until now has been rather bad. And I have just traveled across Bihar for 6 weeks in 2 phases. I hardly saw any enthusiasm for the Congress. What enthusiasm I picked up from the road, other than the usual development, splurge going on by the NDA government, is basically either for Tejashwi Yadav or for Prashant Kishor. I did not see at all any enthusiasm across North Bihar, across Central Bihar. I traveled quite extensively, talked to people. Every village you go to, you find 2 or 3 or 4 supporters of Congress.
You're saying that the Congress is nowhere, but then I have a question for Mr. Prasad. Do you think that Prashant Kishor is an X factor? Well, I've not been to Bihar, but I'm asking this question because the job of a journalist is not to underestimate or undermine anything new. Is he the X factor, or will that, to you, will that work or not?
Karthikeya, I do think Prashant Kishor is an untested element in this election, and the way he has been campaigning for the last, in fact, his Jan Swaraj Yatra that he has been doing and remember, Indian politics, Padayatras have always played a decisive role, whether by established leaders or by novices. They do tend to bring about certain element of votes. But in case of Prashant Kishor, one doesn't know how many votes he is going to collect and from which party he is going to collect. Surely he's trying to bring in a new element of politics into Bihar. He's building, and remember, he's a strategist who has worked for both the Congress and the BJP and knows their ins and outs. He knows their pluses and minuses, so he can strategize himself. But does he have the kind of wherewithal in terms of the party and its infrastructure? Does he have the war chest to sustain his campaign? Those are other issues that one has to look at. But I'm sure Jan Swaraj Party is going to definitely have an impact. Whether it's going to convert into seats.
Mr. Prasad, I wish I had more time to have a conversation on this. Bihar show the inclination to break the caste matrix of politics, because if you say that Prashant Kishor is supposed to do well, then you need to say that is he going to cut across vote banks? Is there a different politics that has been churned out? Because then only 30 seconds. Only 30 seconds.
Only 30 seconds. Karthikeya, the entire sort of trip I took for 6 weeks, what I noticed for the first time was a very articulate, aspirational sort of strategy going on by Prashant Kishor, even by Tejaswi Yadav, because he's talking about inclusive politics, and by the NDA. So what first time I noticed that caste has been relegated to the background, and it's basically what I would call class politics, aspirational politics. People are talking completely of a new Bihar.
चलिए अब ऐसा है अजीत जी, ये आपकी बात रिकॉर्ड करके मैं रख लूंगा, मतलब ये बात आपको रिकॉर्ड करके रख लूंगा, because he's made an important point. He's saying that he traveled for for a month in Bihar, and he sees that more than the caste, he's absorbing the class and the aspirational politics issues in the length and breadth of Bihar. One will have to wait and see. जब वोट डालेंगे तो caste होगी या aspiration होगा, but then the elections are still away. So this is all I had on point today. I will see you at the same time on Monday. Thank you and good night.
पता है, जब मैंने ऑफिस का कंफर्टेबल जॉब छोड़कर सिजर उठाई, तब सबने मेरा मजाक उड़ाया। टेलर बनना है, लोन कौन देगा? पर मैं कुछ बड़ा करने के लिए